Hey there, this is the Penny on Your Thoughts podcast, and I am your host, Penny Chason. I'm a board certified hypnotist, intuitive, and experiencer. This podcast is about tapping into your subconscious to create a more aligned and abundant life. By leveraging our subconscious, we can master our thoughts, frequency, and vibration. Fusing the conscious, subconscious, and our consciousness is the science of expansion and soul satisfaction. Each week, I'll share in-depth interviews or solo episodes. This podcast was created to share how you have the power to create infinite potential within you. It's my intention that you find this podcast empowering, inspiring, and full of possibility. Now grab your favorite beverage and let's go. This week I had so much fun. We had our celebration. 4 years I have been full-time in my business since walking away from anesthesia. And as a part of that celebration, I held a 2-hour open door party where I invited in some of my past podcast guests. And we did short spotlights highlighting what it is that they are doing now. Now, this celebration ended up being such a synchronicity because every single woman who was in the spotlight was talking about this whole process of coming home to the idea that as women, we aren't meant to hustle and grind. We are meant to lean into our energy, and that we can create a business that honors our energy design, our lifestyle that we desire, and that allows us to be mother, partner, wife, all of the things that are important to us without stress and burnout. So I hope you love this spotlight episode. Here we go. Lisa and I have known each other almost 10 freaking years.
Yes, ma'am.
Does that even seem real?
It doesn't. No, it absolutely does not.
It's like a blink of the eye.
It is. I remember the first day I called you and I was in tears.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. So
remember.
for those who don't know, I used to specialize in chronic pain. And that was how Lisa and I connected. I think we have podcast episode number 12, right? It was our podcast episode together, but you enjoy working with people on this entrepreneur journey as well. You're a
Yeah.
confidence coach. And God, if you ever need positivity in your life, go hang out with Lisa because she's all about it. You're also a multi-published author. You've helped co-author multiple anthologies. You help people to get published and to tell their story and their journey. Basically, my words, not yours, from the darkness to the light. So it was the first time I was ever published was with you and Divya.
That's amazing. And you've gone on to do incredible things. And I'm so grateful that our paths connected when they did. At that time, I was really needing someone to help me get through the diagnosis that I had just gotten of CRPS at the time, chronic regional PAIN syndrome. You taught me never to use that word, so I really try to eliminate it from my vocabulary. But yeah, you've helped me a lot. Before we did our sessions, I was terrified to travel, I think, as you know. And I've since kind of not globetrotted, but I've been a few places, Texas, Puerto Rico, Florida, and I'm going back to Florida for the next few months. Actually, I'm going to do the snowbird thing.
I know, like, how did that whole thing unfold? Because I think at one point you were really in a place where I wouldn't say you didn't see that, but this is my impression. I kind of got the feeling that you just kind of felt like you were where you were and didn't see a way through that. How did you get into that place of finding your way through? Because it's your business journey that has allowed you to create this opportunity.
Yes, very, very true. I think I'm going to be straight up honest. It was working diligently on my mind, on my spirituality. It was really digging deep, like clinging to God, praying, journaling, and hypnosis that you had taught me, and I did that solidly for probably 2 to 3 years. I literally did the hypnosis, the self hypnosis that you had taught me. I did it religiously, like every night for about 3 years straight. And I kind of inched my way. The first time I went anywhere with anybody on vacation after all this had happened, I took my best friend along and I said, look, I need you to be there for moral support. I need you to be there in case I freak out because I'm afraid of anticipatory PAIN, right? And I got a little bit more confident, right? I got through that. And lo and behold, there was no PAIN, right? During the whole trip. And so that proved to me, that was back in 2017, March of 2017, I went away to Texas for a mastermind. And then lo and behold, and 2 years later, I was in Puerto Rico with John Lee Dumas and Selena Sue and, some real big time entrepreneurs just chilling at John Lee Dumas's house. And then it just has grown and grown and grown. And yeah, now I'm talking about doing retreats in Florida, for women, especially during the winter months. So I think it's been a gradual process, but it's been a dedicated process, right? It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
It can happen fast, but it doesn't happen overnight without us doing the work. We have to do the work.
Yes. And there are a couple of things. One that is that life happens. I
Yes,
often tell
absolutely.
my clients we cannot put life on pause to do the work. My God, if we could, we would get there so much faster. But we get to navigate working through these things
Yes, we do.
and dealing with life as it happens. The other thing that you said that I want everyone to hear, and this doesn't just apply to experiencing discomfort, this
Correct.
applies to everything: anticipatory.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
Andrea was just saying, that quote that she left with, it's all about how we look to the future for things.
100%. 100%. And that's often what causes us anxiety. It's the thought of what if this happens? What if that happens? What if? And so we lose ourselves. We don't stay grounded in the moment. We don't look around and see the beauty that's all around us because our mind is light years ahead of us. And I listen to a lot of self-help, motivational type things. And at one point, this woman said, anxiety is like paying a debt that you may never owe. And I was like, oh, that's so powerful, right? Because
Yeah.
it is. You're giving your mind and your body and your energy over to something you have no control over in most
Might not
cases.
even happen.
That might not even happen.
Yeah.
So it's like paying a debt in advance that you may never owe. And that always stood with me,
Yeah.
and yeah, no, you've been very instrumental in helping me become the woman that I am. And then as your confidence grows, everything else grows. Your business grows. Your love for yourself grows. Your willingness to put yourself out there more grows, right? And that's what I now teach on to my clientele and my clients. It's how to be confident and how to show up and how to be visible and how to make money doing what they love. I mean, that is my divine mission. And I know that as clear as day. I mean, every day I wake up, I'm so grateful that I get to do this for a living. It is in so many ways, it feels surreal. And I think if anyone here is an entrepreneur, you understand that. Because there's a lot of unhappy people out there who are just grinding away,
Yeah.
slaving away, doing somebody else's work.
Because they've been taught
And
that's the only way they can do it, or
yes,
that's
ma'am.
what's expected.
Yes, that's exactly right.
What you said, especially that quote about the anxiety paying a debt in advance for something you might never had, it took me back to the year that I started my hypnosis practice when you said that, because there was a lot of turmoil in my father's life, in his wife's life. They were both dealing with chronic illness. I just got certified in hypnosis. During that certification, I had an experience that took me from being there from continuing education credits to knowing this was my path. And
Mm,
I really wasn't on a spiritual journey, but there was a part of me that was like, you have to do this. So I went
mhm,
to a professional mentor at the hospital. I worked at Middlesex Hospital.
mhm.
And I went and talked to Buddy McDowell. He was the VP of medicine. And I was wanting to get a small office at the hospital. I wanted to rent at one of the clinics. But of course, with hypnosis being the way that it is, um, still not quite mainstream yet. He gave me some advice. They wanted me to be board certified before they would rent me space. And I told him, I said, well, I really just hate to go sign a lease on a big building because with what's going on with my parents, I
Right.
don't know what's going to happen. So maybe I should just wait. And he looked me in the eyes and he said, Penny, you cannot put your life on hold for something that may not ever happen. And I walked out of that office and I just looked up at the sky and I said, God, you open the door and I will walk through it. I will not question it. You just open the
Absolutely.
door and I will walk through. And I can tell you the next year and a half, even 2 years of dealing with illness, death, more illness, crisis, and another death, every single time things were about to blow up, if you will, in their lives, my business quieted down. And the path was made for me that when things happened here in Mississippi, I did not have to carry the burden and the stress of the business. The
Right.
way was already made. But at that time, I really didn't connect it with the type of spirituality that I practice
Mhm.
now, that much deeper inner work. I just
Sure.
chalked it up to synchronicity, and it was synchronicity. But how do you bring that trust in for your clients? How do you introduce that idea to them? Because it's a stretch when you're a new entrepreneur.
It is. It absolutely is. And I think one of the things that separates me from a lot of other business coaches, for lack of a better word, um, is that I work really deeply with my clients to uncover whatever it is that is really standing in their way, right? So we can all point out the obvious things like family is, family life is stressful, or maybe they have a job and it's stressful and all the things. But where I have seen the most growth and transformation in my clients, before we even talk about core messaging and offers and branding and niching and all the things, I go very deep with them. We do exercises on self-awareness. We do exercises on forgiveness of, those who have hurt them, and then forgiveness for themselves. Because what I have found in my work as a therapist, in my work as a teacher, in my work now as a coach, and because of my own experiences in life, what I have found is that so many people are walking around with blame and shame and guilt and all kinds of feelings of really, really heavy feelings that are getting in the way of them truly being the very best person that they can be. And as cliche as that sounds, that is the truth. I look around in the world and I think, my God, we would not be seeing all of the atrocities we're seeing if these people had just been nurtured as young people and taken care of and known that they were loved. I really believe that. I believe at the core of all the evil you see and all the destruction you see is this self-loathing, this self-hatred, right? And so for me, I go very deep with my clients. And so they sign up for my group coaching program and they're like, great, we're going to do branding and we're going to do niching and yes, yes, yes. And I'm like, we are, but we're going to go deep the first few weeks. And we do. And that is monumental for them because I can give them all the strategies in the world, all the tools in the world. I could hand them a program or a landing page that's done for them. If they don't feel confident right here, if they don't love themselves unconditionally, if they don't accept themselves, faults and all, they will inevitably sabotage themselves every single time.
Yeah.
So my goal is to create lasting change. My goal is to create profound transformation in every human being's life that I'm blessed enough to interact with.
Yeah. It's what I call the you strategy. It's what I call the you strategy. And it all begins within. And we have so many talents and gifts to share. And I 1000% agree with you. I've been saying this for a few years since COVID hit. If we want to solve the problems in the world, we have to love ourselves first.
100%.
Love
I
will
couldn't agree
solve the
more.
problems of the world. We
Agreed.
cannot survive without it.
No,
Because
no, we cannot.
if we had love, compassion, and respect, if everyone had that, there would be no war.
I
There would
agree
be
with
no
you.
violence.
No.
Right. And I believe we can ever expect a society where there's zero violence or war? I don't know. But we could
Yeah, I
definitely
don't know
make it
either.
better.
There is such a thing as maybe, some folks aren't born with the capacity to
Mm-hmm.
actually, feel empathy or, have a conscience, but I don't think that's the norm for the amount of violence that we're seeing, right? It's like that's more like interpersonal struggle that's going on. So yeah, I mean, I love what I do, and I know that I'm not like most business coaches. Like, yeah, I want you to make a shit ton of money, but at the same time, I want you to feel good about who you are. And so I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass and tell you you're going to make 20 grand the first month you work with me. No, if we've
I
got
hate
some,
that.
me too. And I think it's really done our whole industry a disservice. Like, if we need to dig deep and get through that muck that's getting in the way, we're going to dig deep and get through it.
And a lot
And
of people won't even work with new business owners because they don't want to have to deal with that part of getting people into momentum in their business.
right. And that's what I love. I
Yeah.
thrive for that. I
Yeah.
love it.
Okay, everybody, you can go follow Lisa. We dropped it in the comments already. She's over on Instagram. Check her out, follow her on Facebook. Thank you. And you know what?
Thank
Shoot me a
you.
message. We need to get you back for a regular podcast episode. It's been
Of
3 years.
course.
It's been
I would
3
love
years.
to. Oh my
Okay.
God, has it? All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Penny. And thank you to everyone here.
Love you.
Love and appreciate you.
I hope you can feel my appreciation and gratitude for you, my listener. I would love to connect with you outside of the podcast platform. There are a few ways that you can do that. If you're not already on my email list, you can go to pennychason.com/myth and download the Big Mindset Myth PDF. Or you can go to Instagram and follow me at penny.chason. You can connect with me there. I would love to see you there. And of course, you could always head over to Apple Podcasts and leave a positive review of this episode. I appreciate you, and I will see you back here next week.